Now then, welcome to the latest instalment of Red Army TV. Apologies from the offset. I've got man flu, so you probably need sign language to understand me, but hey, what's new? A couple of fellas returning to the table. John Flynn, big Boro fan, have been for many years. You know players longer ago than I do.
A few years back, yeah.
Yeah,
almost
absolutely.
60 years.
Good to have you with us, mate. And Adam Bragg, big Boro fan, on a couple of weeks ago.
I was. Good evening.
Yeah, good to see you, mate. We're going to talk Villa. Sadly, we have to. Adam, what went wrong?
Oh, I think Tony Pulis said it was a bad day at the office. I think it was a little bit of a bad day at the office, but I think we came up against a very good manager with a Premier League quality side who are starting to click, and we just couldn't cope with them. And in all honesty, I bet Pulis looked at that team with absolute envy. There was 3 players in there he fancied in the summer.
Well, he tried to get Balassi.
He tried to get Balassi. Yeah. He fancied Taylor.
Yep.
So I hope it's an opportunity for him to go to Mr. Gibson and say, look what we could have had. Look what we should have. John,
how much damage do you reckon has been done?
I just hope we learn in the short term. I don't think we're massive long term, but we've got to learn from it. I thought, first of all, for me, it was a little bit of a repeat the first half for away to Preston, where they set the tone. And I think it's a link in with the 3rd game in a week after internationals, and then certainly players like Mo Besic are not the same player after their 4th game in about a fortnight, and it's hit the midfield. And I also think in home games you need somebody up front with Jordan, Hugill.
Yeah.
Having said that, also it was a bad day for Darren Randolph, which he's not had in 2 years. He's allowed that.
Yeah. I mean, I noticed the South Stand giving him a big round of applause.
Yeah.
Once that second fatty was dropped in and the 3rd goal went in.
Yeah.
Deserved, wasn't it? Because he's been fantastic for us. He's dropped 2 fatties in the game. We've lost 3-0, but nobody was at the races in that game. So nice to see the fans saying to him, look, we understand it's your mistake, but...
He's got his plenty of points.
He has. He's saved us a number of times. And I think even early in that game, he pulled off a fantastic save down the bottom left.
Yeah.
So any sensible Boro fan would give him a round of applause. He's been a magnificent signing. In fact, probably the best of Gary Monk's signings, I think.
Yeah.
I would say.
Definitely.
Oh, I was going to be controversial there, but we shan't. We shall move on. What I'm fearing, though, is a few of them are coming home to roost. I've been saying, and getting battered on here, to be fair, I've been saying we've been overachieving all season.
Yeah.
And I had a horrible feeling things would start going south at some point. What we've noticed is Forest, Derby, Villa, they come here and have a go. They put us under pressure. They grab the game by the scruff of the neck, and we can't respond.
Yeah. That's what I mean by us taking the initiative.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes, I know he saved Besic, he didn't play him at Preston. I think sometimes he's got to change it a bit more in midfield. I mean, it was a bit unlucky again. Saville didn't get a goal. I think I wouldn't throw out the set system. I'd actually like to see in defence the old shot at right back. I'd like to see a Yal at centre back. No one's going to push him around and go to the near post. And then you're going to be a bit of variety in midfield. And also I'd like to see especially in home games, somebody up front with Jordan. I mean, Jordan Hill's not an out-and-out striker. There's some along.
He's an out-and-out striker. He's a Bernie Slavin.
He's not going to. He's not going to make things happen.
He's not going to. I'd like to see Braithwaite given a go in a.
Well, he has played striker in his career.
And I think Tav's done well, but don't expect the world from him.
Well, you're going through the squad at the moment, John, so let's split it up bit by bit. You said you'd like 2 strikers up front. We got that when the changes were made, but it didn't make any difference whatsoever.
No, it didn't. I think...
Because they scored.
Well, yeah, they did, and we didn't get the opportunity to get back into the game. But it was interesting. I was sat in the Royalty at the weekend. I had a seat in the...
Sandwiches, was it?
And I was sat with a lot of... Yeah, I was, yeah. I was sitting with a lot of Villa fans, and the comment that a few of them made to us as we were kind of discussing the game was it looked like we were playing with the handbrake on. Players were not quite knowing what to do and where to be. And my fear at this moment in time, as we're leading towards the transfer window, is that Pulis has reverted to type. He hasn't got the players he wants. He can't play the way he wants. We've lost a few of his first team, choice players, and so he's playing his away team, i.e. hold back, don't concede anything. Whereas you're absolutely right, John. We're at home. We've got a fairly decent squad. We should go and take the game to people.
Even if you feel as though you're inferior in terms of quality, you've got to have a
You
go.
see, that first goal is vital, isn't it? I mean, it was a bad error. The
in
first
tight games
goal.
like that,
and then you give teams space. You can play. If we get a goal against somebody, and the space is totally different in the midfield, I think the concerns in midfield.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah. It's definitely midfield.
On the third game and we've got another 3-game week in a couple of weeks' time. So
and we're still in the cup as well. So.
And then add that on. Well, I think he'll play totally different squad.
Yeah,
I know. He's got to, hasn't he? Because they've got him there and all that. We could have that argument all the time. But I'll tell you what,
think
before we dig any deeper, let's find out what Pulis had to say after the game. These are his thoughts immediately after the game in his press conference.
Our decision making, our brightness, just wasn't there, and there's no way I'm coming in here criticising the players. Have been absolutely fantastic for us this year. We had a bad day, and you know, we've got to accept it. We've got to move on and make sure that you know, we work harder next week at getting it right.
So 2 points in that one. Tony Pulis saying he's not going to have a go at his players because they've been magnificent for him all season, and the other one was it was just an off day. I'm fearing just an off day, and I'm fearing more just an off day. Is this something you've been fearing as much as me, or am I just Mr. Pessimist?
No, I'm completely with you. I think it's more than just an off day. I think when we've come up against players and teams, more to the point, with a new way of thinking, a slightly forward way of thinking, like Derby in the first half, like Forest, and then again like Villa, we're struggling to cope with them. I hate to think, with all the Pulis experiences, that I'm going to call him a dinosaur, because I hate people saying that, but I'm starting to worry about his ability to identify issues within midfield.
Well, hang on, it's only one game, isn't it? It's already a couple of games.
I don't think it is.
But it isn't only one game. What about Rotherham at home?
Yeah.
We failed to get out of the box against Rotherham.
It's tough to, if you get that first goal, it opens up.
It does, but I think they would have scored anyway. They were a very good side at the weekend. If they were going to score a goal, the way they pulled us out of position all over the pitch, they were going to score.
Scrap the formula that's been successful.
Well, that's one of my points. I think he has. You know, if you look at the formation and the team that he's fielded in the last 3 or 4 games, he's actually changed it dramatically. And if he listens, I'm sure he does, pick your best formation, pick your system, and if players need changing, put players in that know the system. Don't change it wholeheartedly.
As I said, Shotton and Ayala.
Well, I completely agree with you.
You know, and Ayala can get you a goal. And in midfield, he's got to look at, certainly Besic looked pedestrian after 4 games in 2 weeks. Yeah. And that affected the other midfield as well. Clayton can't do it all the time. No, and even at times in some of these games, some people will say, what? You could put Lebeter in to do a job in one of the games, like have a go at Grealish, him trotting around with his
shots.
We're not going to go back to Patrick Vieira. Let's do him in the first.
Someone should have been close to him. He's a league above that point.
Oh,
sorry.
Couple of comments coming in. We'll get your views on them. Stu Gawley, let the forwards have free roles. You can't coach goal scoring. Stu again said, predicted the Villa result, Dave. Tony knows now. Stu's not a big Tony Pulis fan. And here's one for you. John Ken Hall, hiya Dave, say hello to John Flynn for me. Lived next door to John for some years in Hambleton Road.
Yeah, and do you know we used to meet when he got subbed?
Come on.
On the Westbourne Road, Bernie Slavin going off in a huff.
I tell you what, I wish we had a Bernie Slavin at the moment. Well, I think that's in a Sombalonga, that's his sort of role. Pick up the scraps, run at defenders with the ball.
He's not holding the ball, they've got the joke. That's what he wants him to do.
Yeah. So is it a mass change in January? Is that what we're going to do?
No, we obviously need, I reckon we need at least 3 players in January to maintain a solid promotion effort. I think you need someone up front, you need somebody quick in, a wide player, the sort of players he's been looking for.
Exactly.
And we need another midfielder.
Yeah.
And also, by the way, we've got away with it with George Friend. He's not been sent to be injured.
A lot of people
but he's
say
had to play all the time. But he's had to play. He's played all the time.
He's played all games since Tony Pulis came in.
Yeah.
And he's not been the player he has been all season.
The others are getting rotated. He's not.
He's not. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm a Ayala fan, and I always have been.
So am I. I love Danny Ayala. I think he's probably the best centre half we've got. I preferred him over Ben Gibson, and that's saying something. We got 15 mil for Ben Gibson,
also, but I've noticed something.
Would they not conceded that first goal if Danny Ayala would have been playing?
I don't know. But I think he's bigger and he wouldn't let people push him. But as actually, the last 3 games, we've conceded goals from short corners.
We have.
We've got to be aware of it. With one player, usually Tav marking 2
Somebody's
people.
not doing their job.
So, for Middlesbrough, they're a big defence, people are saying. So we're not going to hire it in straight away. We'll do some short corner stuff, and they've obviously worked on it. Yeah. And I'm sure Tony Pills is no idiot.
Villa, without a doubt, had worked on it because they'd had 2 corners before the goal-scoring one, and the movement from the 2 players that went left and right was the same in each corner.
Well, we're going to continue this, fellas, because we're going to take a quick break for Teesside TV. Also, Mogger coming to town. We've got to talk about what you're expecting from that. More after this short break. See you then. Yeah, welcome back to the Dickens. We're chewing the cud over Boro's fantastic performance against Villa. Not. Darren and John with us at the table. Your comments coming in too as well on Facebook Live. Darren Morrow, really bad day, lost 3-0 comps though, bounced back against Blackburn. The squad isn't the greatest in the league. What were your expectations at the start of the season? Everybody said we wouldn't get near the playoffs. Neil Dyball, hi guys. We have the players to score goals, but too many defensive midfielders being played. And there's a big one from Paul McLean, which we'll come on to shortly. During the break, we were having the chat, weren't we? And you're still absolutely convinced it's down to maybe not having a settled formation.
I am very surprised, I have to say, with Pullis. I think that Pullis likes a certain way of playing football. He likes big players. He likes getting big players into the box at set pieces. And he seems to have fallen foul. He doesn't have the players he wants, so he's reverting to type. Yeah, completely get that. But why then go and change from a successful formula, go away to Preston, and suddenly there's 5 at the back? It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to make mass changes, not only in personnel, but in formations.
Well, you're not the only one to bring the Preston formation up. You were concerned about that as well when you watched it.
It was the first half against Preston was similar to the first 25 minutes was the same against Villa, although Villa had far better players.
Yeah.
And they started really on the front foot against us. I think it's to do with the personnel. I think it's who. And the 3 games, I am totally convinced, because for me, Besic used to be the pivot in midfield, but he hasn't been after these. And I'd be wary of...
Well, we might have problems then, John, because you look back at the last couple of transfer windows. I mean, yeah, one loan window. Let's have a look at the summer window. We didn't bring anybody in the summer window, and we're saying it's a personnel problem. You know, what's the likelihood if we didn't spend in August at the start of the season? What makes you think we're going to spend in January?
I don't think he needs massive changes. I'd like to see also up front Braithwaite giving a go. He can get. You want someone who can get you a goal.
Is he playing? Is Braithwaite playing at the moment for the Sheds?
He's actually in terrible form, isn't he?
How do you know?
He had a spell when he was in the shop window.
Yeah.
He was playing out of his skin.
I didn't think his goal for Denmark was a terrible goal. That was a cracker.
Yeah, but he didn't have a white shirt on, did he?
So what are you saying, that for Denmark he's a better player than he is for Middlesbrough?
No, I'm saying you need to be in the team to have a chance. You need to start, not come on when they're 2-0 up. And I'm sorry, I think Saville needs a bit of a better goal. And rest people like Howson or Besic or something.
But he doesn't though, does he? That's his problem. And you're hitting the nail on the head. Pullis's problem is he trusts certain players almost too much. Howson seems to be in the team no matter what he does.
Yeah, Johnny didn't have the best of game against Villa, but then
he has spells of where he's not at his best.
But you look at the stats, they reckon he's created some of the most goals in the Championship, evidently.
Yeah.
Besic. Johnny Howson.
A couple of more comments that are coming in. Daz Murrell again. We're 3rd in the league. I think we're 4th, aren't we?
We're 4th.
We're 4th.
Joint 3rd, we're being optimistic.
Yeah, joint 3rd. Absolutely, Daz. And everyone's going mental with lots of laughs. I'm with you, mate, but my fear is we might not be joint 3rd for a while. Paul McLean, our home form is not good enough at present to sustain a promotion push. Sadly, our away form is good. December is a very big month. I'm not confident beating Blackburn on Saturday, as they're doing really well under Mogger and can score goals, something we desperately struggle with. Thanks for that one, man. Pete McWalk, 3rd in the league, semi of the cup. The man flu's kicking in, fellas. I'm struggling here. People making out a lot of clubs would love to be in our position. You're dead right, but we've been promising a lot this season.
They want to be in our position, Dave. The guy's not wrong, but look at who's below the playoff places. Look who's not in there at the moment.
Look who's flying. Look who's flying.
Look who's flying.
There.
Yeah, there's two teams in that top 6 who aren't performing very well. It's Middlesbrough and Sheffield United. Look at the two teams below them.
Absolutely.
They're going to come and pick us out of there unless we can put a solid run together with these winnable games during December.
But having said that, the other side, up till Saturday, I was quite happy for the win at Brentford, the draw at Preston, and I thought if we can nick a 1-0 against Villa, that'll be champion. And you know, it wasn't, but it was. There are a lot of games coming up, and other teams are going to have setbacks as well. Derby got beaten, didn't they? Well, and there's lots of other games going on. You've got a three-game week in a fortnight over Christmas period.
My fear though is Norwich are flying. One draw, the rest of them are wins in the last 6 games.
Teams are playing.
Yeah, they are, but it's a good time of the season to be flying. If they can have a good Christmas and New Year.
When you've got a lot of games in a row.
Yeah,
Someone called Jordan Rhodes is scoring goals.
I know he is. Sadly, he didn't get an awful lot of game time for us, did he? So I reckon if they have a good Christmas and New Year, they could be out of the way. They could be gone. So it's down to one promotion place. You don't think so? Well, that's fair
I
enough.
think there'll be a lot of up and down. You know, a team can play on Boxing Day and then 3 days later they can have a good win.
If you look at the fixtures though, John, you're absolutely right. If you look at the fixtures, that up until the transfer window, there are 8 games involving the teams around us. So they're playing each other. We're the only one who hasn't got a game against someone around us.
Yeah.
So we've got an opportunity to
December was our opportunity. That was like, so in the end probably, we'd have been happy with a draw on Saturday in retrospect.
Because the rest of the
Because I think they were absolute class. Somebody like Tammy Abraham, you know, they got from Chelsea. He's a Premiership player, isn't he? And
they've got a few Premiership players.
And they've got Balassi, and they've got some players there. And they've also got a bit of know-how from John Terry for Chelsea, blocking people from corners and all that stuff.
During the break, you made a great point about what John Terry used to do for Chelsea to get them to score goals from set pieces.
Yeah.
Who do you think instigated that little move of the 2 centre-halves split?
See, I think we've still got potential in Flint and Ayala to score, but they're not scoring.
They haven't scored a goal, which is worrying.
I suppose the silver lining as far as, and we'll move on shortly, but the silver lining as far as the Boro's concerned is how many teams have sat in top spot now? 6 different teams have been top of this championship table, which tells you how poor a championship table it is in terms of...
Dog eat dog.
Oh, absolutely, in terms of consistency. There's nobody there. Norwich is starting to show it. Villa is starting to show it in terms of consistency. So, hey, let's keep our fingers crossed. Press that reset button. Let's start with Mogger. Maybe an FA Cup run will help us. What about the draw? What do you reckon of the draw then? Home game.
I'm not happy, I'll tell you why, because I had an accumulator with Peterborough to win. So the draw did me no favours. But a home draw, did you make a statement before, Dave, that we're 8 games
8 successive games at home now in Cup draws?
Don't take me wrong, but I'm not bothered. I'm more bothered about League Cup. All right, you say it's Burton and no chance in the next, but both people said that before in the League Cup. Well, we'll get past Burton and you never know.
We'll find out on Tuesday when the replay between the two after the 2-2 draw is taking place. We'll find out then. But more important than looking at an FA Cup draw is the next game. It's Mogger. What do you reckon, Mogger coming back? Is he going to have his team wound up more to put one over on his hometown team? Or do you reckon we'll be more wound up to put one over a former manager?
No, they're professional, aren't they, both of them? I think they might try and use our defeat against Villa.
That we could be got at, and the first half against Preston.
I mean, Danny Graham getting a hat-trick, you know.
I tell you what.
Well, I mean, I've always... Mogger was one of my heroes through the years, through Bruce Rioch's team. I was really upset when it didn't happen for him. Yeah. But his hands were tied at the Boro, and I always felt sorry for Mogger.
Yeah.
It's a way, in the same way, I know some bloke is taking an England team at the moment.
Oh yeah, I felt sorry for him a little bit, yeah.
You know, when he started, Gareth Southgate, you know, the players there were winning pots more money than he was, you know, and he was just a new one. So, yeah, I know, because they were both good, solid players.
What are you expecting?
He'll get a good reception. I think they'll have a go at us, because if I was Mogger, I'd be looking at the last few games and thinking teams that get at us and get amongst us, try and play between the lines, lateral movement. We've got witnesses there. But I think we're strong enough to want to.
I don't want to be too technical, but get the first goal. If we get the first goal, I know it's not very technical, but
I was saying this to a couple of Brentford fans before we played them down there, and they were saying, how do you think it'll go? I said, if you want some advice, don't let us score first, because if you do, you've lost. But scoreline, what do you reckon?
I'd take 2-0.
2-0. 2-0 Boro.
I think it's going to be 2-0.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think we'll get an early goal in the first half, and then we'll get a breakaway winner later on.
Yeah. Mind you, you've got to look at them and think they've lost 2 out of their last 3. They've had a decent run, but just ever so recently, it's a bit like the Boro. They've just stuttered a little bit. So how much will that help?
Well, you have to look at Middlesbrough as a prime example. You lose a number of players to injury, lost form. Every team has it. We're struggling because our squad isn't as good as our first team. I think a lot of teams are like that. Their squad isn't as good as their first team. And
John?
that will affect them.
I agree. Totally agree with him. I think it's going to be. I think it's dog eat dog. I think it'll be all season, to be honest. I don't think Norwich will bomb away. But it's such. I mean, it's ridiculous, isn't it? In November we had 4 games. From the beginning of December to the beginning of January, we've got about 9 games. It's ludicrous, you know. And it has affected us because I keep saying Besic and Braithwaite, they're not in when they come back, are they?
Could it be the turning point of the season? Good win against former manager, give you a bit of confidence?
Last week, Dave, if I was Tony Pulis, I would be banging on Steve Gibson's door saying, these are the players I wanted. Because there were several players in that squad that we had to look at. These are the players that if we had, look how good we could be playing. And I think
I agree with you.
And spend some money. We go, Yannick Bolasie, you're not telling me if we broke the bank on wages and look after his family, he wouldn't have come for 6 months. Absolutely.
The usual thing, you know, Birmingham's near to London. You what? It's the money?
Yeah. Break the bank to bring him here, look after him.
Oh, like,
Well, let's hope it happens in January.
Robert Lee when he went
Next
to Newcastle.
We're out of time, mate. Out of time. Robert Lee? No, we won't go there. Alan Shearer and Lee. Fellas,
Well, it's said.
thank you for your time. Continue your debate, but we're out. See you next week.